The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Hey everyone, welcome to Arting with the Alikat. I got a bunch of stuff that I've been working on. I figured I would show off first, and then I would go into working on some stuff. But mainly comic stuff today. I'm going to be working primarily digitally, but I figured I have a bunch of traditional stuff that I've been working on. I would show that off first. But yeah, so the other thing is, sorry about last week. I really wasn't feeling good, and I just needed the day to rest, but I'm back now. Had a pretty rough week, but glad I'm doing this now. And I promised opioid cordyceps. Definitely discuss those at some point today, because The Last of Us is so good. And I hope to terrify you even more. But anyway, so what we'll first do is go into layout with this, and I still haven't figured out the damn focus on this thing, but I'll get it eventually. But these are some D&D monsters I've been working on for a project with my brother called Slaves of Madness. These are a few of the monsters for it. I figure he'd like to see these too, so. But yeah, so that's a fun one. And we got a group shot of some people. I did these in a much more cartoony style because most D&D stuff tends to be very kind of serious. People trying to channel Frank Frazetta and Boris Vallejo. And my goal is more just to show people getting massacred by monsters. So these are the 5 monsters that are going to be in it. I got a few things I still got to do with this guy, but think of it as a mold the size of a dwarf that mauls people. So it should be fun. This right here is the city of Scarborough, which I actually drew this, I think, back in 2017. It's part of my share campaign world with my brother. So, and I'm working on this one, which is Growlhold, another one of the cities. And I have a very loose design for the city that the comic is set in, which is Raven's Edge. Now this is a picture of Dani, or Sifum, which is her name. And it was just me kind of getting an idea of how she looks. I was kind of where I'm adjusting my style a bit to make it a bit more serious. This is kind of my first go at it. To see, all right, do I like this? What do I like? And I figured I was kind of like, it's too gangly in ways. So it was a good try. So I came up with this one next. And I'm generally overall fairly happy with her in this design. It gives a good feel for her. Got her name and Chinese characters here, which translates loosely to mean 4 winds. And this is kind of one of my first goes at doing this art style, and I did this back in June actually. And this is one of my 3 daughters, basically some characters that will probably appear later in the comic. This is Amelia. She is the daughter of the Mater Lacrimarum, and her mother is the Mother of Tears, and that's where the scar comes from. This is Shadow. For my sequel series, A Girl in Her Shadow, which focuses on Dani and Shadow. This is my redo of her. And she is the daughter of the Mater Tenebrarum. And this character is new. I got to do a little bit more work on her still, but this is Astel, the daughter of Mother Suspirium, Mater Suspirium. And she is another, what I call a Krieg wielder, like Dani. But so she's the 3rd daughter. This is, again, a bit more of my cartoony look. The Anastasia the Vagrant. She's kind of a bounty hunter type. I drew her back in March, and she'll be a bit of a problem. Now, this is the constable of the city of Raven's Edge. This is me early figuring out how I want to kind of make adjustments to my art style and trying to come up with places where I'm happy with. And I did this late last year. This is an adversary, Gaius Thorn. Again, I did this late last year, figuring out what I want to do, but kind of getting an idea of things as I do him. This is one of my older villains who I've redone, and the first drawing I did where I really kind of felt happy with going with the new type of stuff. Let's see. But yeah, the Ashghoul, and he is a right bastard who's inspired by a combination of Jack the Ripper and the Joker. All right. This is Ardric Kelikos. He is the Mad Overlord of Iron Spire, which is he used to own Dany as a slave. And she thankfully is on the run from him now. But he is an ongoing villain who wants to get his quote-unquote property back. Along with the other two that escaped. This guy I have not named yet, but again, it was me just kind of fiddling around trying to find what I like to do. Did this early in the month, I believe. Shortly after I did some of the December pieces, but this got him in there. This is the Vermin King. He is Master of the Plague Knights, which showed up in my Rise of the Manifested comic for the first time. I make mention to him a few times in some previous streams and stuff. My first go at him, and I like my initial designs on him. I think he's showing up kind of fun. And this is one of the big people who works in Growlhold. He is part of the Chancery of the Night. Forget his name, but I got it written down someplace. So that's all that matters. Again, it's me just fiddling around trying to find what I like to do. But yeah, figured I'd go over a few things and show what I'm doing kind of artistically for a bit. Let's get out of there. Back to me. Let's do that one. All right. This is a picture of Dany that I did. This is basically a sketch card style piece. She is me kind of figuring out again how I kind of want to get slightly different than my manga look on things. So far, I like how it came out. I'm still figuring stuff out. But yeah, other than that, I figure it's on with going with some comics. Let's see. That's not one of the pages. That's one of the finished pages. Let's see. I got these two inked recently. Actually, gotta do some stuff back here still, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. All right. Let's go in here a bit, make some adjustments. Alright. I was told to come here and cause problems, and Nita's already said that she'll kick you. I guess, I could kick you too, so either way. But schedule is free. That's fine. I'm glad you came. Cause too many problems? We'll kick you. Problem solved. Oh, that was aggravating. Why did it do that? Let's find that out. See how he gets it. Huh. Yep, I do. I definitely get it. A whole bunch of weirdos here. That's the one. And one. There. Did I not put something in? Okay, not sure why I had to do that, but hey, is what it is. Interesting. Whatever. All right. Put that off. And that out. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. You actually can't see what I'm doing on the side. Interesting. What we're doing now is adding some texture to everything. Typically, I do this ahead of time, but I haven't had time yet. Oh, yeah, it's locked. Lock you. Again. All right. So we got that in there. So before I start talking about the Ophiocordyceps, are people watching The Last of Us, or at least played the game and are at all interested in the bit of research that I've done? And I will state that there could be minor spoilers and things I talk about. All of the Last of Us games, one of your favorites. The show's amazing because Pedro is a hunk of a man. Yes, Pedro is definitely a hunk of a man. I can agree with that. I don't know if Nita agrees with that, though. There's the other lady who's here. But so I was curious if The Last of Us was possible. Basically, the first episode of the show has an interview with some experts on fungus. And I was curious if what they said was true. And then, I also was curious about what the inspiration was for the cordyceps. That being said, I found out that the guys at The Last of Us were inspired by a BBC documentary from 2006 that actually talked about cordyceps. And what they didn't realize is they had the wrong branch of cordyceps that they were talking about in it. The ones that do the zombie thing are called Ophiocordyceps. And they're a eukaryote, just like humans, insects, and other such things. One of those experts is Evie's brother from 1999 movie. Fair enough. Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he? I didn't even think of that. Evie's brother. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. So I looked into it, and apparently there are about 600 different species of this particular type of whatever, the fungus thing. I'm not thinking right now. Cordyceps, something like that. And I was definitely a little scared by that. I was like, wow, these things are terrifying, and they affect more than just ants. They can take over butterflies. They can take over bees, I think, were one of the ones they could get. Ants, of course. They, basically anything from the insect clade could theoretically be affected by these, it seemed. I mean, there's literally billions of insects. So now, here's the interesting part. This could happen, but most likely never at us. So they made a statement that, if the heat changes, that these things could affect us. The answer is a lot more complicated than that. And I was checking in with some scientists on it to see what they had stated and how they were talking about it, because this is obviously the new panic. We're all going to become fungus zombies. because climate change is a thing. It's getting warmer, and the cordyceps could just go and take over all of us, because then they could survive in the human body. The way these things have evolved, they don't jump species. They only affect the specific insect that they affect. So a cordyceps that could affect a bee can't affect an ant. They're like basically tuned to it through their own mutations. So I guess there is the theory that one could evolve to affect humans, but that type of a mutational jump is very, very unlikely. It's jumping way crazy species wise. And the other thing about them is that since they're affecting another eukaryote, it's difficult. It's difficult to jump within that frame. It's not a bacteria or a virus, that type of thing. It's not one of the other species that can easily jump things. So eukaryotes don't jump between species as easy. At least that was kind of the gist I was getting. And I'll completely admit, I am not a biologist, not by any stretch of the imagination. I may play one on YouTube, but I am not a biologist. I'm just reading the science and trying to get my best guess of how it works based on some of the papers I read. And a few of the scientists that I spoke with, and all of them are pretty much like, nope, this can't happen. So, now science never says never, but in science terms, it's basically nigh impossible. So, you can put that behind you. You're most likely safe from them. Yeah, we could never see it coming. That is true, because fungus is literally always in the air. Pretty much you can't escape it. It's always in the air. There's always some type of fungus in the air. It's always doing something. Fungus is terrifying in that sense. So, yeah, it's terrifying. There is no doubt that it's not it's terrifying. There's no doubt about that. It's really an ingenious idea. I wish I thought of it. But yeah, so basically you can thank the fact that you're an animal and not an insect, so it can't really do anything to you. But it makes some really scary stories. I had talked earlier today about possibly bringing on some science YouTubers while I draw, and then I will talk to them about different elements of comic books and pop culture media, and get like an actual expert's opinion on it while I'm doing this stuff. So if people are interested in that, I do have a friend who is already more than willing to jump on. And he's got a YouTube channel himself. He goes by the mockier Dapper Dinosaur. It might be the Dapper Dinosaur. And effectively, he is a VTuber who uses usually a T-Rex for his avatar, and he's animated it to make it move around, stuff like that. So he's an artist himself, too. 3D artist. But, we were talking about, making jokes like, how would you make the Iron Man suit? And it basically came down to, you don't. So, and then we explain why. So, I don't particularly want to turn into a crazed zombie. I'd rather be a clicker. Fair enough. Another thing I found kind of interesting is I was thinking about I could run a really interesting D&D scenario utilizing kind of an idea from The Last of Us. Because there's a demon queen called Zugtamoy, who is literally the demon queen of fungi. And it's just like she has powers that basically replicate the things from The Last of Us. And I was like, oh, that could be kind of fun. But yeah, so if I get Dapper on, it'd be pretty cool. He's definitely interested, but I am gauging interest of different people who, basically the people who watch the show and stuff like that, and get your opinion. Because science with the Alikat seems to be a bit of a thing. So yeah. Any other questions? I'll share what I have learned of the Ophio Cordyceps family. Cool. If anybody has any questions about it, I'll share any other info that I might have gleaned off of it that I'm just not thinking of right now. Let's do a one-off Indie Comics Network D&D session. That could be fun. I don't know if I'd really want to do it on the channel, though. Because, we're a comics channel. Comics and art channel, and I'm not really sure if that would work for the channel. I'm always up for D&D, so I'm not really sure how much I'm going to be up for D&D next, but hey, or D&D 1, whatever they're calling it. 5th edition was called D&D Next when they play tested. So I kind of slip back to that on occasion. But yeah, doing a one-off D&D game could be fun. What was it? I am putting together a D&D game with David Finch. That will be fun. And the next time he comes on the stream, we're actually going to draw our D&D characters.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
And apparently my Alexa had something to say. Usually it doesn't pick me up from over here. Weird. Oh well. Always listening. I also have to make a channel bump for this channel too. So have my Arting with the Alikat advertisement. Yeah, I like that one. But yeah, that's fun with Cordyceps. Gotta say, they were fascinating to read about. The things that they can do, it's just, damn. Evolution does some weird things. No, I think in one of the other things that my friend Dapper and I discussed was how would the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually work? So that could be fun stuff for the future. I'm always unsure how crazy I should go with my detail on these things, considering the pages are going to be very small, and I'm going to color them. And I'll be using Zipaton effects. Yeah, but I'll be getting back to doing the weekly sketches and doing some characters in the future. Together problems? Probably. Oh, together probably. I see what you're saying. All right. And in February, I will be doing the Ant-Man sketch cover. So that will be a big one because I want to do that on the day Quantum Mania releases. Try to see it the Thursday before so I can get some ideas. Also, I intend to have Ian Chase Nichols on in February. We'll be doing, he's actually going to be inking the cover he's doing for me for The Last Sentinel. So that'll be neat. Not really liking that one. Yeah, I like that a little better. One thing I like about inking digitally, the undo button. I just scanned a bunch of pages today so I could get them kind of worked on this. And we'll see where we go. I also got the book of the week right by me. So I can jump over to that too when we get to the 4 o'clock hour. So Allie's pull list. Actually didn't get any comics this week, which is weird. Usually I get something. Bear with me here. Let's get a drink. This comic is going to be very weird stylistically because I kind of adjust my style throughout this. Try to get what I want. I don't want to redraw pages because I'm just sick of that. So I like the art overall, though. Gherkin, shouldn't you be working? Guessing that's a tag at Chad. I am working. I'm inking. Does anybody have fun plans for the weekend? I know tonight I am running over to a friend's house after this. I'm going to play with their new cat. I mean, it's not like I have enough cats to play with here. That's the other thing I like about digital art. Oh yes, no. This is just everything's done this through StreamYard. When I put on the other camera, I use OBS. But I'm not using the desk cam right now. But that I use OBS for. It's one of the ways I can flip the camera so it, because right now it's basically upside down the way it's filming. But this is just a screen share on OBS. Not OBS, sorry, on StreamYard. Hey, Rodney here. Yeah, so when I work traditionally, I use OBS to show things, but with this, since I'm doing it digitally, no point. Still trying to find out the happy medium of what I like to work in with digital to traditional, so. As I will say, digital is definitely easier. It's also faster, but I really like drawing on paper. For the sake of smartness, I should probably save. people a bit of a quick shot of the page. Not to add some background elements to this stuff. So right now they're basically in who knows space. I'll do that after I ink them all in. I still texture the pages to make them all look old. Now I have the dialogue on this all off because I don't want to give away everything. But I am introducing some of my villains for the issue. Actually, I should say for the story. This guy's one of the bigger villains. He is part of a group called the Ruthless Goats. Because I thought that was an amusing name. In the D&D version of this setting, they're dwarves, actually. But I don't have dwarves in the comic version. I kind of do. I have fae. But I don't have the true, like, D&D races. Closest thing I have is the kind of an orc-like race, and I have kind of a tiefling race. So there are these entities that are touched by infernal beings. It's kind of a curse of a family, more than a separate race, though. That you know at some point in the past your family trafficked with entities they probably shouldn't have. I got nothing against the D&D races. It's just a lot of fantasy I read doesn't have stuff like that in you're playing D&D, though, you kind of need them. They help fit the genre. One of my favorite parts also of Clip Studio is where I can paint with basically a transparency instead of just erasing. So you can set the brush just to be a transparent and erase with it. And I just did that. And when I go to start really coloring the pages, my friend Lori, Calcaterra, she did the flatting for me. So with her Path of the Pale Rider, you'll be getting a cover from me because she does my flatting. Felt that was a definite worthy trait because flatting can be very boring. I'm hoping to get a lot of this stuff finished over the next week so I can do fun stuff for the stream with sketching characters. I might do some Last of Us stuff because that could be kind of fun. I kind of want to draw a clicker. So those things are creepy. We recently just started outsourcing flatting, such a huge time saver. Oh yeah, it is. I can definitely agree with that because it's like now it's less things I got to worry about doing, and then I can focus more on doing my coloring. I'm surprised the amount of stuff I actually have for this book done. I mean, I have it mostly penciled. I have to scan it all in. Still got a bunch of inking to do. Hoping I can get my friend Peter to do some inking for me on it. When he gets back. currently dealing with some family stuff, so. Hey Glenn, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Glenn's definitely got some amazing art if people haven't checked him out. I believe you can get a lot of his stuff on Amazon on Substack. Not positive though. His Hatch stuff is brilliant though. go. Let's see, just about time for my pull list. Get to that in a moment. All right. Page back up. Okay. Okay, so we'll get the pull list going. And you get my ugly mug now. So this week we're going with, it's kind of a comic book, kind of not a comic book. We have Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud, which if you're creating comics, want to read comics, want to know anything about comics, this is the book. It literally goes into how to make a comic book based by talking about a comic book. Now, he has a book all about making comics, and again, it's a great book. This, I think, is his best work of the 3 books he did. I don't remember what the third one was. The middle one was. So I believe Making Comics was the third one. I don't remember what the middle one was, but yeah. But Scott McCloud has some great ideas in this, how he talks about basically the origins of sequential art and storytelling. And he lays it out in a very easy fashion to kind of go through. I had to pick the ones that have space stuff on it because I like space. But yeah, talks about all kinds of things. Some other great stuff there. So if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It really goes into kind of everything on it. On comics. This is first published, I think, back in the 90s. This is the 22nd printing, so yeah, 1993. So I was in high school when this came out. God, I'm old. But yeah, it's a great book. Highly recommend it. It's a good read, and main computer decided it was time for an update right now. Try to keep the chat in check here. All right, thank you, Nita. I appreciate that. That's pretty good chat all in all. I don't really see a lot of people in here causing problems. Chat hasn't done anything dumb. So I think we're good for the most part, but I always appreciate you. But yeah, Understanding Comics, Scott McCloud. I think this is the latest printing. I have no idea what happened to like the first 2 or 3 copies I've had of this. They've disappeared over the years. But yeah, great books all in all. On that note, I do want to share one other thing before we get back to drawing. All right then. Not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Back to work. I wanted to get on Randy's show earlier this morning, but I'm still recovering a lot, so there's no way I was going to wake up for like 5 in the morning to get on, but he was going over Eerie, like the first 3 issues of Eerie, and those comics were, I mean, there were more magazines, but those were amazing pieces. Like the first issue had, like, I believe it had a Rosetta story in it. So yeah, it was fantastic piece, and the art is just magnificent in those books. I mean, one of my favorite artists heavily appeared in them, which is Bernie Wrightson, and his stuff just blows my mind even to this day. I just love it. I don't know if you were on it earlier, Glenn. I haven't watched the VOD yet of it, so it's on my list of things to do. I'm actually surprised I was awake for Daphne and Nita's show today. I mean, glad I was, but I was a little surprised I was awake. I had 2 small furballs that wanted to interrupt my sleeping in the middle of the night. Because they decided to have a demolition derby on my bed. Okay. How do I do that? Another interesting show that I started watching, which I'm a little surprised at myself for watching it, was the new Night Court series. Because I generally hate sitcoms. And I found it rather amusing because I actually enjoyed the original Night Court when I was growing up. And I was very amused by it. I don't know if I'll watch much more of it, but the first 2 episodes amused me. So we shouldn't post porn, post links to porn right now. Yeah, that would be bad. That would get me mad at you. And I can do some really evil things with computers. So. But yeah, no porn right now. I'd appreciate it. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I won't post horrible links into your shows. Not that porn's horrible, but, I can find some horrible links. One of these days I'll remember what the keyboard shortcut to rotate the canvases, but it will not be this day. Yeah. Figured I'd be having a longer discussion about the cordyceps today, but oh well. This is one of those guys I was kind of guilty of just designing right on the page. I kind of knew what I wanted, and then I just kind of did them. that important of a character anyway. I was a little inspired by a character in the that was in From Hell when I did this guy. Forget his name. I want to say it was Grady, but I can't remember his name, if that was it or not. From Hell is a tough book to read. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's good telling one of the bigger Jack the Ripper mythologies, but it can be a real rough read. It's very dry. Beautifully done book, though. Actually, starting to wonder where the cats were. They're still in the bed. The other thing about taking some inspiration from hell is a bunch of the people I can take inspiration from really existed. So I think I'm just gonna do a when in doubt black it out in that area. I'll try to get a fight to do on the next one or something. 'Cause, I mean, this is mostly just like talking head stuff, but needs to get done. They start talking about what's going on and what's interfering with their business, which happens to be Danny. So kind of unknowingly causing some issues. All right. I think we're going to come to the end of the stream for today. Did an hour and a half. I want to get a couple of little things kind of taken care of on this. See, looking. Definitely have to do more touch up on him, but he's coming along. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with me while I do my art. And I hope you can return next week when I do more art. Not really sure what I'm doing next week at this moment. Still got to play a lot of catch up on things. But I'm hopeful that we'll get back to the usual where I can pick a character and go to town. But on that note, let's say goodbye to everybody. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all next week at the latest. Feel free to tip your waitress and try the veal. Have a good one, everybody.